Good morning and happy Friday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For those of you that might be new here, we typically do is go over crypto news and news in general in the space, update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's in the house, then we'll get into this. Mr. All Set, good to see you. We got Little Time Mining here. Good to see you, buddy. Perfect. We got Black Hat Team, Steven Cicero, Leo Lustig. Good morning, Alexander, Andrew Masad, Regilio, my man. Good to see you, bud. 10 minutes to midnight. Let's see, Steven Cicero, I think I already said that. DJ Mines, Hadouken to you. What's up, man? Crypto KJ, Rude Puts, what's up, man? All right, to everybody else that may have missed, I apologize. Starting a little late today. Let's get into this. Bitcoin, 67,932 bucks. Hadouken to Bitcoin for holding up this high for the last couple days. It's kind of crazy. Ethereum, 2628. This is going to be an amazing bull run, just in my opinion. Solana, 153 bucks. We got XRP at 54 cents. Again, you guys know how I feel about it. LTC, $72. Looking really good, actually. I actually swapped some LTC yesterday into Caspa because it was like literally 12 cents even. And yeah, it's a good buying opportunity. So this was up about 10% on the day, and this was down about like 10% on the day. So it made sense. Maybe this was 4%. I lied. I think it was about 4% today, yesterday. Excuse me, losing my voice. All right, Ethereum Classic, $19 over here. Dogecoin making a big move this morning, almost 10% up on the day. Perfect. Mr. Elon Musk unintentionally pumps Doge by talking about the Doge, I guess, with him and Mr. Donald Trump if he wins, which is, I didn't hear anything about it, but I'm gonna read a little, well, I'm not gonna read an article, but I'll show you guys a headline of it anyways. But yeah, Doge 13.4 looking pretty good. Shiba's up today, Pepe's up today. Let's see, anything else jumping out at me? Celestia down here, 6%, $5.97. Again, this is the top 100 coins on Coin 360. We got Whiff over here at $2.66, up just about 6%. Render is up 3% to $5.36. Let's see, BitTensor over here, 573 bucks, actually down a little bit today. BNB is at $596, about 0.5%, 60.66% to be exact. Toncoin is up 1% or so, $5.20. All right, so moving on to crypto bubbles. Let's see what we got over here. What is the biggest earner of the day? It's nice to see it turn from red to all green. Let's see, we got Mew over here. I think that's the biggest earner, this Mew coin, 11.5%. This is the cats and a dog's world, ranked 86th. I don't know what this is all about. Who knows? Some meme coin. Pop cats popping off, dude. All the memes are popping off. What the hell's going on? 9.6% up here to $1.35. We have Brett pumping almost 10% to 11 cents. Mog, what the hell's Mog? What the hell's Mog coin? Wait a minute. That's an $836 million market cap, ranked 83rd. What the hell? Loki up 7.9%. Dude, what is going on here? Whiff up 5.9%. Mr. Rude Puts, dude, thank you so much for being a member. Perfect. For 33 months. Let the bull run come. VTC to the moon and Raven. I don't know. I don't know about either of those, but I hope so. For your sake, I hope they do pump, and I appreciate you being a member. You're awesome. Shiba, man, all the meme coins this morning, all of them, every single one. Casp was up 3.9%. It's only 12 cents still. Great buying opportunity in my opinion. Render, $5, again 36 cents. Another good buying opportunity in my opinion. Yeah, nothing really else jumping out at me, but everything looks pretty decent. The biggest loser of the day seems to be Hex over here, 5.4% down to about $0.015 or so. All right, flashbang, I'm gonna have to refresh this because I didn't do it yet. We got the Fear and Greed Index is at a 73. It was at a 71 yesterday. We're now at a 73. I don't want to see it go over 75 before the election. I want it to stay. I want it to stay nice and low, to be honest. I want it to come back down and get back in the middle, because that's when it turns into a complete shitstorm. Things, the faster they go up, the faster they fall. That's how it goes. All right, looking over here, CoinGecko, top 10 coins by coin market cap, starting with Bitcoin at a $1.3 trillion market cap. We got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, USDC, XRP, Lido Staked Ether, Dogecoin, and Tron over here in 10th place at a $13.7 billion market cap. We have Toncoin in 11th, and actually Cardano in 12th place. You guys know I like to go down to where Cardano is at a $12.4 billion market cap. So it's about little less than $1 billion below Toncoin for 11th place, but a little more than more than $1 billion for the 10th place spot. So we'll see what happens with Cardano. Hopefully it gets back into the top 10. Litecoin over here is at 26th, or in 26th place rather, at a $5.4 billion market cap. Again, 71.96 for the price. This has had a lift off due to the anticipated ETF, right? The application has been sent in for an LTC ETF, so we're gonna have to see what happens there. I'm sure bigger companies are just gonna follow along suit. Caspa, I don't know what the hell's going on with it, to be honest. I think everyone's just timmying out. Everyone's running away because they're nervous about the price dropping, which is foolish. When people are fearful, it's time to be greedy. That's how it goes. All right, and be greedy when people are be fearful when people are greedy, and greedy when people are fearful. That's what Warren Buffett says, right? So yeah, you guys do what you want, but I'm still buying the dips. This is my opinion. Ethereum Classic, $19. Again, I hope Ethereum Classic does something well. I actually gotta get these miners in my house because it's starting to get chilly out now. Heat is on in the house. The heat's on in the house. Actually started it up the end of last week. It's been like really chilly the last couple mornings. All right, we got for the mining stuff. You guys know I like to timestamp this stuff. Bitmain AL1 Pro 16.6 terahash unit over here mining lithium, making $34 a day. Let me just refresh this, make sure that's like legit. Yeah, 34.66 a day. Crazy. What is a lithium looking like? Let's see. The only saving grace with the lithium is the fact that it has a low market cap, or relatively low, so it's easy to climb the ranks. It's in 425th place, again at a, let's see, market cap of 105 million, fully diluted at 239 million, but it's at $1.18. $1.18. We have the AL1 15.6 terahash unit at $32.56 a day. The AL3 15 terahash unit over here making $31 a day, just about. We get the L9 17 gigahash unit making $21.20. It's the merge mining unit, Litecoin and Doge. These things have been climbing the ranks price wise, getting into the $20 now. It's looking pretty good, actually. That's awesome. 16 gigahash unit L9 is making $19.95, so just about 20 bucks as well. Pretty good. Let's check out my L7. You guys know I got this thing down at Terra Hosting. Shout out to them. My 9050 is down there making $7.63 a day. Dude, it's crazy.
Perfect.
That machine impresses me every single day. Every single time it goes up in price because of Litecoin and Doge, it just impresses me more and more because it's like a 3-year-old machine. It's crazy. The KS5M. You know what? It's interesting, actually, on Ice River's website, I think they stopped selling the KS5. If anybody's noticed, my man Fully Electric pointed that out to me yesterday. But I wonder, we haven't heard of any new Caspa miners in quite some time. I wonder if we're going to get new ones soon. I do wonder. We're going to have to see what happens. But the KS5M 15 terahash unit over here making only $3.29 a day. Bruh. That's terrible. That's so bad. The AL Box 3 over here. AL Box 3. 1.25 terahashes over here. Mining a lithium, making $1.84 a day. Ugh. Gross. The AL Box 2 Plus. I gotta get this thing in the house. I'm gonna plug this one in somewhere. Down here, probably, to keep it warm in the basement. But $1.48 a day. Let's see, just for shits, what that thing makes at my electric rate. Because you guys know this is at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. So I'm at 30, roughly. Let's see. Am I negative? It's gonna be negative. It is negative. No, hold on. It's even worse. It's worse. It's down here. The plus right here. I'd be losing 83 cents a day. Bruh. Lithium, please. Pick your shit up. This is terrible and embarrassing. Fuck. The only thing that'd be profitable in my house, all the way down, is the AL0. I'd be making 33 cents a day. And actually, you can put these things on Wi-Fi now. I do have a video on my channel if you guys haven't seen it, but there's like a little Wi-Fi adapter that you guys can plug into the USB port on the unit itself and into the Ethernet port. And yeah, it turns into a little Wi-Fi machine. So I might take these and put them in down here then. 33 cents. Damn, that's crazy. My electric rate's ass. It's so awful. So awful. All right. Anyways, moving on. You guys wonder why I go solar. That's why. All right, refreshing GPUs. What is most profitable coin? Seems to be Aleo, and Calor on the top of the charts, the 3090 Ti. Interesting. We got Ironfish. Look at that, making a comeback on the 170HX. No one really cares about Ironfish, at least I don't. We got the 6800 XT on Clore. Looks like that's top of the charts there. How's Clore doing this morning? Let's look. Clore 1.89% up to 11 cents, a little over 11 cents. Not bad. Last 3 months, higher than the last 3 months. Look at that. It was at 10 cents July 20th. So it's had a nice rise in price. Nice. That's obviously in lieu of all of us making videos and all that stuff. And shout out to Clore for sponsoring our channels, even though trolls on Twitter like to say stupid shit. All right, moving on to the news segment of things. Why is Doge price up today? Dogecoin's price is up today, fueled by Elon Musk's mention of DOGE during the recent town hall supporting Donald Trump. So apparently he was in a town hall meeting talking about the DOGE, if he labels Mr. Elon Musk that. I forget what it stands for, but it's just funny. It's just, I think they added the E at the end of it, which is a riot. Dogecoin's gains today appeared after Musk's town hall on Musk's town hall. That's a weird way to say that. On October 17th, during which he endorsed Donald Trump for the United States presidential election in November. During the event, Musk floated the idea of a government agency called the Department of Governmental Efficiency, the initials of which interestingly form DOGE, which is Dogecoin's official ticker, which you guys know it only takes two. Oh wow, they have a thing. Hold on, they have a video here. I didn't know they had a video here. I'm gonna kill this music. Let's see what this is. Is this play? Does that not play? Oh, you son of a bitch. It doesn't play. They have a link. They have a link to go to that. I want to watch that. That's funny. All right, I'll look for that in a minute. Let's move on to the news. Let me Google this little clip and then we'll go from there. Stable coins will be a huge bull market for the US dollar, says Anthony Pompliano over here on CNBC television. Let's do it, guys. That like button. Appreciate you for hanging out.
Andreessen Horowitz released its annual State of Crypto report this week, and the firm put the number of worldwide cryptocurrency owners at 617 million, a new high, driven in part by the mass adoption of stablecoin. Joining us now with more on crypto, Anthony Pompliano, founder, CEO of Professional Capital Management. It's election season. We've been watching Bitcoin. Druckenmiller said that perhaps the recent move is an indication that some players think that that Trump may have moved ahead. He's moved ahead on a lot of the betting sites. Do you think that's why? I mean, it's back to 67, which is not anywhere near the high, but it is well above where it was 3 weeks ago. It was threatening to go under 59,000 again. So it's been moving up for the past week or so.
I think the market conditions are definitely playing in favor of store value assets. You see gold up 30% this year. Bitcoin's up 60%.
Oh, they messed up his
Bitcoin
money.
is just more sensitive and kind of more volatile than gold.
I asked you a specific question about whether it's moving up on Trump's prospect. Did you? This is like last night. Did you hear what the actual question was? Do you think it's related? Because Andrew points out that Vice President Harris has been sort of courting some of the crypto world. So
I don't think it matters who the president's going to be, right? Bitcoin.
So even the last week has nothing to do with it.
I think that it is much more likely that about 6 months after the halving, you get the pricing in of the supply shock. You also have central banks around the world that are cutting interest rates. You have M2 money supply that's now expanding, and then you also have a very bullish investor base, right? If you go and you look at kind of how over-levered people are and how excited they are about stocks moving up, Bitcoin moving up, et cetera. Now, if you go back and look at 2020, this is right about the time where we went from, call it $10,000 for 6 months. We just went straight up from 10,000 to 64,000 in March of 2021. And so I'm not a huge believer in just like, hey, it's the month of October, everything's got to go up, because usually September is down, but it was an up month. And so we kind of invalidated that thought process. But I do believe that there is something about around 6 months after the halving, you start to work in that supply change, you get a monetary regime change. And I do think Bitcoin is going to continue to run through the end of the year.
Okay, because the reasons you gave right at the top were that you could go back 3 months when you're on, 6 months when you're on, 9 months, and they're the same thing that you've always said, the same selling points for why Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is the simplest story in finance, but it is the hardest story for traditional financial market players to understand because it requires them to not overthink it. And I think that's a really, kind of important point, which is Bitcoin is a finite asset. If they increase the money supply, if they drop interest rates, and people around the world realize that they need a store of value, they're going to buy Bitcoin. Now, what's really interesting is Charlie Bolillo from Creative Planning put out this chart that over the last 30 years, the U.S. dollar has lost 50% of its purchasing power. In one generation, people lost 50% of their purchasing power. They're going to look for other assets. Now, what I do think is important is that Bitcoin is not a threat to the U.S. dollar. What we're seeing and what the Andreessen report pointed out is that actually what people are doing is they're using Bitcoin as a savings account. They're buying Bitcoin and they're holding it. They don't want to spend the Bitcoin, but they're starting to use these stable coins. And so stable coins now have hundreds of millions of users. And so just like in the traditional world where you have a savings account and you have a checking account, you never touch your savings account. That's what people are doing with their Bitcoin. It's the digital savings account, and then the stable coins are now your checking account to pay for your everyday expenses, goods and services, etc. And I think that by reducing the friction of switching between currencies, because now everything is digital, what you're now introducing is a multi-currency world, which historically hasn't been possible because to move from dollars to any other currency was incredibly expensive and difficult. Now we have a savings account in Bitcoin. Stable coins are what you're going to pay for, and those two things are going to continue to ride, and stable coins will be a huge bull market for the U.S. dollar.
Okay, so the great masses of the unbanked, are you seeing Bitcoin become, I mean, if you have a phone, you can have a bank anywhere in the world. Is that, in the past, you've said, that's like fairy dust. Remember, you sprinkle a little fairy dust. You've been in foreign countries and you ask the guys, you got it in there, like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you think, can you make the case that's actually happening
I'll give you a couple
the world, or is it just fairy dust?
Let me give you a couple of numbers. So there's 2 reports that recently came out. One, Nick Carter at Castle Island, they did a huge study with Brevin Howard, Visa, et cetera. And then there's a new guy who's the head of economics at Tether. They both put out a bunch of data. And so the data points were Tether claims that they have 330 million people on chain, not in centralized exchanges, on chain with Tether in those wallets. If you add in centralized exchanges, tens of millions more. So let's call it 400 plus million people just with Tether. Then Nick Carter, Visa, Brevin Howard went and they looked and they said 2 out of every 3 emerging market crypto users have converted stablecoins and their fiat currency. So they're going back and forth between these assets. And then they also said that 40% of these emerging market crypto users have bought a good or service with stablecoins. Now, again, that is just crypto market emerging market users. So what is the percentage? That's a huge question. So if it's only 10% of a nation, you go and you talk to people on the ground, only 1 out of 10 people are going to say, hey, I've got stablecoin. But it is a very high penetration of usage for these stablecoins for the people who have them.
I mean, because you can paint this unbelievable picture, Andrew, that there's people in high inflation countries that work their ass off, and then a week later, whatever they work for is worth 10% less in a week. And if you were to go into Bitcoin, there's a place where but I don't know if it's really happening.
I think there's a huge story right now. We'll see if it happens. Stripe is reportedly looking at acquiring one of these stablecoin businesses. And so when you start to look at a digital payment provider saying, hey, look, let's go and adopt these stablecoins. Again, stablecoins are for payments. Bitcoin is for savings, which historically Bitcoiners have said you're going to spend your Bitcoin. But right now it is dumb to spend your Bitcoin in America. You get taxed, and it's a huge issue.
Would you say you've been getting at it relentlessly all day already?
Every morning, with a smile.
You've been getting at it. We got to do that. Do you? There's days I'm not relentless. I don't feel relentless at all. Yeah, I think he does.
You guys are doing just fine.
Are you sure?
Positive.
More coffee or something. Or hello, I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Anyway.
When we come back.
Oh, I forgot. I have a very important question. One question that's super important. Do you think that Peter Todd is Satoshi Nakamoto? Did everybody watch the HBO documentary last week?
I didn't watch it, but I saw the guy. I hope not.
Do you think that's him?
Andrew, we're all Satoshi.
That was perfect. That music that they play is fucking annoying. I can tell you that. All right, I found that clip. Let's see what this is. Listen to Elon Musk explain how the Department of Government Efficiency (DOGE) will give power back to the people. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just gonna click on watch it. Here we go.
So, if you do choose to be the head of the Department of Government Efficiency,
Doge.
Yep.
Boom. Price goes up 2 cents.
What do you think about we stop giving money to other countries such as Israel, Ukraine, and we stop funding forever wars that most likely is going to the deep state anyway?
Yeah. Well, I think in general the amount of waste that happens with the federal government is really staggering. It's a staggering amount of waste of taxpayer money. And if we're, for any given expenditure, we have to say, well, what does this do for the citizens of America? Like, how is this good for the people of America? It's their money. Like, for some weird reason, a lot of people in the sort of, state or whatever, the politicians, they seem to forget that the money being spent is your money. And if it's not being spent in a way that is beneficial to the American people, it's a misuse of the funds. So, yeah.
Dude, he's like disgustingly smart. He's such a robot. It's crazy, but this is that's pretty neat. I'm gonna retweet this. All right, let's move on to Robinhood CEO on new advanced trading features. Let's see what they got to say over here. Again, CNBC television. Let's do
Robinhood
it.
announcing a new suite of products for advanced traders. Joining us right now, first on CNBC from the first ever Hood Summit in Miami, is Robinhood co-founder and CEO Vlad Tenev. Vlad, it's great to see you this morning. I want to hear all about what the summit is about, but also want to talk about some of these new features that you've implemented in the product for advanced traders. It feels like a major shift from where you started and what you were doing. What's the impetus for this?
Well, first of all, the Hood Summit, it's the biggest event we've ever held for active traders. It's here in Miami.
and we had 800 of our best customers joining us for the event. We announced some products. We had over 1.7 million people joining on live stream as well. And really, it's just to mark 2 years of progress from us becoming a great app for beginning investors all the way to an advanced platform that serves the needs of sophisticated active traders as well.
And so that's what I was going to ask in terms of just how you're thinking about the market for your product today versus the way I think maybe people thought about the product before.
Yeah, there's 3 things that we're focused on. The first thing is being the market leader in active trading, growing market share. We've done very well on mobile historically among younger people and folks that primarily trade and invest on mobile. But about half of the market is on desktop web, where you have more real estate on the screen. You can do more sophisticated things like have charts and data and the trading in the same interface. And so we weren't really a player in that space. But last night we announced a new platform, which we're calling Robinhood Legend, which is the first platform on desktop that we built specifically for the needs of active traders. And the feedback was really positive. I mean, really, there hasn't been a great trading platform built with modern technology and with charts integrated until we announced Robinhood Legend. So we had 1,000 people sign up and get access to the product in the first 40 seconds after we opened up signups, which I thought was pretty amazing.
I want to ask you about 2 other trends that are taking place.
Do they do like leverage trading and stuff? Does anybody know?
Among retail investors and whether it's the markets you want to play in. One is, we keep talking about the election, as you might imagine. There are folks who now want to bet on the election. You can technically actually do it right now, even in the U.S. Before you couldn't do it. Do you think that's a good development, a bad development? How do you think about the betting markets for political purposes?
Look, I think I'm very pro-markets, pro-free market, and I think that there's legitimate geopolitical risk to hedge, and investors should have access to all the tools at their disposal to hedge their risk appropriately. So yeah, very much in favor of more access to markets and more clear information. I think that the great thing about these markets is people have money on the line as well. So you can kind of trust that they care much more about the results, and those results should be much more reliable in a sense than just simple polling.
So I don't know if you...
He asked about gambling. He didn't even answer the question at all. Andrew Prasad said Robinhood is shite. Never use it. Never will. It's actually not bad. It's not bad. It was so like back in the day when you weren't able to send your cryptocurrency off of it. Yeah, it was I would agree. But it did make it stupid simple. That's where like I started, and that's actually where I first dipped my toes into Doge. And then I realized you couldn't send it out of that platform, so I had to cash it out and basically send my money out, obviously with fiat to my bank account. Yeah, it's really not. I think they've changed a lot. I haven't used it in a couple of years, but as from what I'm hearing, it's really not that bad anymore.
You saw, but Stan Druckenmiller yesterday made a comment about another trade that he thinks may be indicative of where this presidential campaign could go, which is the crypto trade, the trade around Bitcoin. I'm curious about how you see crypto moving. Obviously, Bitcoin has moved higher, and whether you think that's a sign of former President Trump gaining a lead in this election, because there's a view that he may be more pro-crypto. At the same time, I think there's a sense that Vice President Harris may be more open to crypto than she used to be. I don't know if you see a massive distinction between the two.
Both candidates seem like they're in favor of the U.S. being a leader in the space, which I think is a welcome departure from the status quo. So it could have an effect. You know, the markets could be reacting to the political sphere, but also we're seeing broad-based optimism right now across multiple asset classes. I don't think it's just crypto. And you know, markets shift up and down. The scenario can change very, very quickly. But right now, when we talk to our traders, many of whom are at this event, they're expressing a lot of optimism. You know, they believe the future is going to be better than the past. America is kind of at the intersection of all of these new trends and innovation. If you're looking at electric vehicles, artificial intelligence, there's a lot of potential there. And they
Right.
see America and the U.S. stock market as the best way to kind of capitalize on that.
Real quick, you know what? I take that back. Crypto KJ just reminded me. So Robinhood is shady. They have a bad habit of pausing trading when something gets popular and goes up too quick. Yeah, you know why? It's because of the stock market thing. That's not specifically just Robinhood. That's all stock trading platforms. They do that. They have to. So if they move like, I forget what the percentages are. It's like 730 13 and like 20%. Like it's like they close it for like an hour and then it's like 4 hours and then it's all day. So yeah, that's all stock platforms. So yeah, if you're considering that, then yeah, that does suck. That's stupid.
I don't know if you saw the story or if you can add any intelligence to this. Politico reported that your chief legal officer, Dan Gallagher, has been floated as a possible pick for SEC chair if former President Trump were to become the president.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Dan has been a great team member. He's been continues to be amazing to work with. Has been responsible in large part for us becoming such a great regulated player and up-leveling there. So, of course, we'd love for him to continue doing that. So I have mixed feelings myself about these reports and rumors. But also,
Wait,
you know, I appreciate.
What did I miss? What happened?
That, you know, we need people that have extreme regulatory knowledge, but also care about innovation and America being a leader in financial services and cryptocurrency and all of these related enterprises.
All right, I gotta go back. I gotta see what his question was.
Possible pick for SEC chair if Dan Gallagher has been floated as a possible pick for SEC chair if former President Trump were to become the president.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Anyways, all right. Who cares? Ranking the banks on AI. Let's see what they got to say again over here. CNBC television. This is about 23 hours ago. Let's do it.
This morning, some data coming out from data startup Evident out with an artificial intelligence index, which is ranking the banks on performance and adoption of AI. Topping the list for the third straight year is JP Morgan Chase. Joining us right now, first on CNBC, is Alexandra Musadivate, co-founder and CEO of Evident. How did I do? Okay?
You did very well.
Pretty close.
Close?
I really wanted you Mustavisa Day.
Mustavisa Day.
Mustavisa Day.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We're okay.
We did. We did a lot of practicing.
Help us here understand what these rankings really are and what they're actually ranking, if you will.
Yes. So it's being released today, so it's very exciting. It is it's a ranking of the 50 biggest banks in North America and Europe. And what we look at is the entirety of the activities of AI in banking. So we look at talent, the whole talent stack of a bank, research, patents, investments into ventures, partnerships, open source, use cases, ROI.
So how much is this about the actual banks using AI versus investing in AI?
It's all about what they're using AI. So that transition to being an AI first or AI forward bank, we look at how far the banks are in that journey and how mature they are.
Okay, so then now we have JP Morgan at the top.
Yes.
How much distance is there between the various banks on this list? Meaning, is JP Morgan so far? I mean, is JP Morgan in a completely different league than everybody else?
Yes.
They are.
Yes, they are, and leading more. So what we've seen since the last update last year is that the leading banks, and with JP Morgan in the lead, are leading more. The leading banks are actually growing their activity by twofold, so 2x of the rest of the index. So what we're seeing is that those that had a head start are doubling down, and JP Morgan is in the lead there, and it's far ahead of most of.
And but let's walk through the actual use cases, because I think one of the things that happens is you speak to a lot of folks at these banks, and at most of corporate America, and they are not actually thrillingly happy with what the AI is giving them right now. Meaning the use case is not totally there because of hallucinations, because of leakage, meaning there's lots of data you can't actually just put into these systems.
Yes, absolutely. And so we're in the very early innings of AI adoption, right? So we're just in ChatGPT got released, we've been in a testing phase, and then now the leading banks are putting these use cases into production. And it's right, there's a lot of reliability issues, and a lot of the use cases are being tested out. But we are seeing that the leading banks are putting Gen AI use cases into production for internal purposes with a human in the loop. So what we're looking at in the future is looking at agentic AI, but we're not there yet. But the leading banks are starting to look at that too. But yes,
but actually, let's talk then just genuinely about the actual context that you're using it. And the reason I ask is, and I think we mentioned this yesterday, if you talk to Mark Benioff, for example, at Salesforce, he will tell you that actually most of these products that Microsoft's put together, even with OpenAI and some of the other products that are out there, they're actually not really up to snuff yet. They just aren't.
And the question becomes, is the market ahead of itself?
Right. And so, and everybody is trying to, you remember, there's a little bit of a 1999, can we put .com at the end of our name so that everybody can think that we're like ahead of the game, even though it doesn't really matter what's happening? And so part of me is asking you this question because I want to really understand the use cases that you actually think are real and are working.
So the use cases that are real and are working are examples would be for wealth management, for financial analysts. The Gen AI tool that helps them cut a lot of the drudge work in terms of pulling together information that just means that they cut out maybe days of work. it's not going to replace, but it augments, it supports their work. So we're looking at productivity gains somewhere between 10 to 30% if it's, with the banks that are using it so far. But there are a lot of kinks and a lot of things that need to be ironed out, and it's not producing those productivity gains first anticipated that were up in the sort of 60, 70% area. So those are use cases.
So in the wealth management, you're talking about wealth management. Give me an example.
So you are an analyst that are putting together some information that you need to present to your client.
Yep.
That information might have taken you 3-4 days, maybe a full week to pull together. You can do that in 30 minutes. But are they pulling the
Here's the question. Are they actually using AI? And you can see I'm skeptical because I actually don't believe it. Do you believe that anybody's using AI against actual financial information, insofar as my financial information is inside some institution and they are taking my financial information and then actually doing something with it and actually using prompts to actually go get the information, not copy and pasting.
Wait, he doesn't think that's actually happening?
The information from some other screen.
They're pulling together information on their clients.
Right. Do I believe that they're making like books so that if I walk in and they want to make a presentation to me? Sure.
Yes. And that is the lion's share of the use. It's pulling together the information on you to make you a nice presentation that they would spend 3 to 4 days on before. So it's cutting out that drudge work. It's cutting out that...
Right. It's fancy PowerPoint.
But it's not... It is... Well, so far it is, absolutely.
Right.
And it's not going to be let out without a human in the loop for a while. It's not going to pull together that information and send it to you, Andrew, and you make a decision that's then going to be automatically executed. Not yet, but it's coming. It's on the horizon. But it's in the early days, early innings, as I said.
We entered into a partnership a couple of years ago, CNBC, with companies that look at screens, and it could be earnings per share or free cash flow, and then out of the S&P 500, here's the 15 companies that manifest all 10 of those qualities that you're looking for, and they give it to you. And AI needs to take that, and I guess what would it need to do? Customize Andrew Ross Sorkin's age and risk profile and put it all together?
I'm saying most banks are not going to allow you to query the data directly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but where's the AI in just going in a screen like that generates certain names of companies?
They stop playing the music. They're like, oh, there we go. Andrew and Joe fighting again.
You pull in all of that. I mean, you've got much more power now to pull in lots more data points and generate knowledge and content. And that has been done by hand before.
And almost be an S&P index fund if you do all that.
It's so funny that they're just like, yep, that's it. They're starting to fight again. All right, FBI arrests man in connection with fake Bitcoin post on SECX account. Dude, I forgot about that. Yeah, so apparently, well, you guys remember when the SEC account was hacked over there and they said the ETF was approved and the markets moved a whole bunch. Apparently, the guy who hacked it was bagged. So I kind of skipped forward a little bit, just going over the market price and all that stuff. But CNBC Crypto World, let's do it.
Now, Anthony Pompliano talked crypto prices when he joined Squawk Box this morning. He said he disagrees with the notion that Bitcoin's recent jump comes from optimism of a Trump victory, who has been courting crypto voters.
About 6 months after the halving, you get the pricing in of the supply shock. You also have central banks around the world that are cutting interest rates. You have M2 money supply that's now expanding. And then you also have a very bullish investor base, right? If you go and you look at kind of how over-levered people are and how excited they are about stocks moving up, Bitcoin moving up, et cetera. Now, if you go back and look at 2020, this is right about the time where we went from, call it $10,000 for 6 months. We just went straight up from 10,000 to 64,000 in March of 2021. And so I'm not a huge believer in just like, hey, it's the month of October, everything's got to go up, because usually September is down, but it was an up month. And so we kind of invalidated that thought process. But I do believe that there is something about around 6 months after the halving, you start to work in that supply change, you get a monetary regime change. And I do think Bitcoin is going to continue to run through the end of the year.
Okay, let's talk about the top stories for today. The FBI just arrested a man it claims hacked the SEC's X account, which sent Bitcoin prices surging. Prosecutors charged a 25-year-old Alabama man with conspiracy to commit aggravated identity theft and access device fraud after he allegedly sent a fake post in the name of the agency's chairman in January of this year. Now, in the post,
Alabama man. Well, that was a curveball.
Claimed that the SEC had granted approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs for listing on all registered national security exchanges. Now, that wasn't true at the time, even if the agency later did approve those Bitcoin ETFs. After the fake post, Bitcoin's price surged by more than $1,000. The SEC later announced that its account was hacked, and the price of Bitcoin fell by more than $2,000, according to the DOJ. Next, Robinhood's Vlad Tenev joined Squawk Box this morning, where he was asked if the odds of a Trump victory or a more welcoming stance from VP Kamala Harris on the industry are correlated with Bitcoin's upward momentum.
Both candidates seem like they're in favor of the U.S. being a leader in the space, which I think is a welcome departure from the status quo. So it could have an effect. You know, the markets could be reacting to the political sphere.
He was also asked to...
If we had two candidates running for president and they don't want crypto to be in the U.S. or they don't want the U.S. to be ahead of the whole crypto sphere, then I don't know why they're running. That makes no sense. Obviously, they want it here.
The Act reports that Robinhood's chief legal officer, Dan Gallagher, has been floated as a potential SEC chair pick under a Trump presidency. Attentive highlighted Gallagher's achievements in his role at Robinhood and asserted his belief that the agency needs people who care about innovation and U.S. leadership in crypto. In May, the company announced that it had received a Wells notice from the SEC threatening enforcement action related to the U.S. crypto business. Last, prosecutors say that the Bitfinex hacker who stole around 120,000 Bitcoin should get 5 years in prison. The DOJ made its argument in a court filing on Wednesday. In it, prosecutors said Ilya Lichtenstein, who pleaded guilty to money laundering conspiracies back in 2023, should receive a sentence below federal guidelines due to his, quote, substantial assistance. Prosecutors also said that following that prison sentence, Lichtenstein should be subject to 3 years of supervised release. You might remember the arrest of both Lichtenstein and his wife, Heather Morgan, most famously for Morgan's rapper persona, Razzlecon. Now, she also pleaded guilty to money laundering conspiracy and conspiracy to defraud the United States after Lichtenstein enlisted her help to launder the stolen crypto funds.
Shout out to 56. Thanks for the ramen noodles and 42 months of being a member, dude. You're insane. You were my first member. I appreciate you, dude.
All right, let's get back to the markets for our main story. With Bitcoin testing levels not seen since July and questions around which presidential candidate would be better for crypto markets, Crypto World's Jordan Smith spoke with Solo Ceesay of Galaxy for his take.
Who?
Let's start just with where markets are right now, because prices are retreating a little bit, but we saw Bitcoin test levels not seen since earlier this summer. It was really brief, but you know,
listen, I'm gonna skip this just because I don't know what the hell. How did I just skip a tab with hitting a button on my? That was weird as hell. Oh no, it just went. Wait, weird. It just like jumped back to the next chapter. I don't even know how I did that. All right, we're gonna move on to the videos because I don't have time to listen to that whole thing. Unfortunately, I gotta get the kids to school. But Bitcoin holders, pay attention to this. I want to see what Mr. Austin over at Altcoin Daily has to say. Guys, that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
The Bitcoin price today continues to consolidate under a 7-month resistance, of which we've hit and been rejected off of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate times. If we are finally able to break above and close above it, prepare for October.
October, babies.
October, you said, not October. You said October, right, Meltem?
That is right.
General partner of Crucible Capital, Meltem Demers, explains what the data for Bitcoin is telling us. And after, I want to show you this one chart, which the mainstream media is not reporting, as well as Solana news, altcoin news. Watch today's whole video. But with Bitcoin, what should we expect next?
And I think one of the things that's really important to remember here is the crypto industry is an interesting one because we have a plethora of data, right? Sonali, you shared some of it pertaining to ETF flows. That is a data point that's really widely tracked, but we have a lot of on-chain data that we can look to. I think what we're seeing right now, the Bitcoin halving happened earlier this year. There is this 4-year cycle that gets talked about a lot in crypto that's directly driven by these Bitcoin halvings, where the supply of Bitcoin mined in every block gets cut in half. It's effectively the inflation rate in the Bitcoin protocol getting cut in half. We had a halving earlier this year. Typically, the halving takes about 9 months to sort of filter through. We've seen, BlackRock went from owning 0 Bitcoin at the start of the year to now holding $25 billion of Bitcoin. We have Larry Fink in his earnings call for BlackRock talking about the potential of Bitcoin to be a massive asset class like gold. And so I think there's just been a fundamental shift, and coupled with sort of this halving and this typical 4-year cycle we tend to see with Bitcoin leading and then other longer tail crypto assets following, we just have this incredible backdrop. And on top of that, it's also an election year where crypto, believe it or not, has become a massive platform for the Trump campaign. And now it's starting to become a small but growing part of the platform for the Harris campaign. So all of this taken together, I think, is driving a lot of attention.
So it's a waiting game like right now. I'm personally watching the stock market right now for sort of traditional investor sentiment. I mean, it's a very tricky market at the moment because year to date, yes, we continue to hit all-time highs. This should be euphoric. Yet investors are nervous.
We got earnings as we head into an election, and everybody's wondering what the Fed's actually going to do next.
This uncertainty, combined with the grinding upwards of new all-time highs, is the reason there's still opportunity.
And we have, 46 new highs, and it's the market that nobody actually loves, so we continue to go higher, and quite honestly, we probably can continue to go higher because I've never seen a market that's doing so well that nobody talks about and everybody's afraid of. And again, path of least resistance is what I always believe in, and the path of least resistance, in my opinion, continues higher because there's absolutely zero FOMO on the upside right now.
JJ Kinahan explains his reasoning on where he sees markets into 2025.
But one of the reasons, as I started with, that I think we continue higher is if they're going in, they're still going in very...
Just dipping their toe in?
Yeah.
A little bit at a time.
A little bit at a time. And I think to your point, there are some people who are so underinvested, and that's usually the time the markets continue higher. Again, people don't truly believe. And everyone I talk to is so nervous. The Fed's been a tough story. Mm-hmm. People are unsure what to do there.
Although the Fed is now in a massive easing cycle. So.
Well, Yes, they
whether
are.
we get a
but
cut
then
at the next meeting or not.
Somebody hasn't told the bond market that the last week or so.
And this chart is what it all comes down to, that the mainstream media isn't sharing. The Dixie, the strength of the dollar index, keeps on rallying. I think this rally will extend through end of year. I know many were predicting doom for the dollar a few weeks ago when the Fed pivoted, but since everyone likes comparing this BTC cycle to 2016, note that the Dixie had a 9 to 10% rally in Q4 2016 as well, after a weak August-September. So again, this is the strength of the US dollar. If the US dollar is very strong, people keep their money in the dollar. They don't put them in assets. When the dollar starts losing strength, that's when they will put value in the stock market, into crypto, into Bitcoin. It seems the Dixie weakened into the Fed pivot, and then the week-ish it happened, bounced off it. Until this reverses, that's a hold on alt season. But that's okay. Everything's fine. The current Bitcoin halving progress is only 12% of the way through. So again, being here today is like being right here in 2020, still a lot of upside, like right here at the end of 2016, and even like right here
there you go. There's your proof. It's going to explode at some point.
In mid-2013. We are only 12% of the way through. And this is par for the course with alt season. Altcoin season starts typically 224 days after the Bitcoin halving, meaning around then, that is when Bitcoin dominance usually tops and will start falling very soon. You have passed the darkest times, and now you deserve the reward. So comparing to where we are now, understanding that we are not yet 224 days after the halving, looking at 2017 and 2021, 224 days is when Bitcoin dominance started to fall and altcoins started to rally. Click subscribe right now if you appreciate this alpha. We drop a video every day keeping you informed about crypto. And huge growth milestone for Ondo and Solana. Ondo's flagship yield coin, USDY, recently surpassed over 100 million in TVL on Solana, achieving over 100% growth in the past 30 days, meaning that even though price for both Ondo and Solana has been chop-solidating, fundamentals are improving.
Beauty of Ondo.
I found this interesting. I want to share with you. This is the Chief Strategy Officer at Ondo Finance discussing how...
I feel like this is a shill, but I'm not 100% sure. I feel like he's just shilling this shit. Damn, I don't have time to watch this, unfortunately. I don't. All right, we're going to get into the recap segment of things and yeah, go from there. Sorry, guys. I wish I had more time. I just don't, unfortunately. All right, playing some music. Let's see. Bitcoin, for anybody just joining, getting into the recap segment of things, we got Bitcoin, 67,692 bucks. Looking great, actually. It's holding pretty well. We have Ethereum at 26.21. Solana, 152 bucks. We have XRP at 54 cents. Let's see. TRX over here at 15 cents. We got Sui at $2. We got LTC up almost, well, it's like 1.5% or so today. $71, almost $72 actually. We got Caspa at almost 13 cents at 12.8. We got ETC at 19 bucks. I got to get some of them jazz miners inside my house. It's starting to get a little chilly in here. We got Dogecoin over here pumping on the day, as you guys know. Again, this whole Elon Musk talking about the DOGE over in the town hall meeting supporting Donald Trump. That's the reason Dogecoin's pumping, which is funny. Literally, he could just say anything about Doge and it pumps, and that's why I hold the decent bag of it, just because it's the moonshot bag, you know what I mean? That's just my opinion. You guys do what you want. You're all adults. Don't take advice from people on YouTube. That is your first mistake. We got BNB over here, $594. We got TON at $5.21. Let's see. All the meme coins are really popping off today, to be honest. Render, $5.31. Let's see. BitTensor, 572 bucks. Let's see. Get that L7 fed through the HVAC. I don't have it here. The L7's down to Terra. Missed pocket change. I say it every morning. Damn it. Can't take you anywhere. All right, moving on. Crypto bubbles. See if anything changed. Nothing. Literally, meme coins just popping off today. Kind of interesting. Caspa's rising 4.6% now. Again, 12.8. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Fear and Greed Index. Flashbang. 73. Want it to stay under 75. Goes over 75. I don't know. I don't know. Even though if the bull run starts right now into the presidential election and through the end of the year, when this thing starts getting up high, you guys got to watch it. You got to watch it, because if it keeps going up like 80, 90%, like when it gets really high, it's time to be fearful. Be fearful when people are greedy, and be greedy when people are fearful. And guys, that is it. I know a lot of you guys are asking about my tattoos. Yes, these are my kids' names. Oh, I gotta Gotta hide my eyes. You can kind of see it. Emma and Vincent, that's what it says. This says the same thing both ways. Kinda blurry, focusing on my eyes. But yes, today is Friday. You guys have a great, happy, and safe Friday. I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow. Not tomorrow morning, sorry, Monday morning. And I'll catch you guys later on tomorrow night for Mr. Smiling Saturday Night Live. But it is Friday. I do have to leave you guys with this. Hopefully, you guys have a good day. I will catch you on the next one. And peace out. Let's get over to this. Peace, peace.
I wanna hold until I can't no more.
We don't talk. We don't talk.
Have a happy and safe Friday, people. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Peace, peace.
I love titties.